Meet Bluto's brother, the newest animal at Delta House, January 18th.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Dan Slott, welcome back to Word Balloon. Great to see you.
John.
Thanks for coming back, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You know it. Before we get to the new stuff, I want to say I really have enjoyed, especially the last two issues of Superman Unlimited, because you were with Norton, my dear friend Mike Norton.
But he stepped in and helped out so we can get ahead. Our regular artist Lucas Meyer, and I had such a blast working with Mike Norton. We got to introduce our new version of the Prankster, and I've been having a blast. Like I was under exclusive for 20 years at Marvel. Right before I started at Marvel. I had done my breakout book, which was Arkham Asylum Living Hell, and playing around with all the Batman rogues. And, like there's so many people that want to like break out and do like create our own this and that and all these other things. I am the kid that grew up with all the superheroes on the lunch pail and the footy pajamas and the Migos. I love the Marvel and DC universe, and it's been so weird to be in this bubble in Marvel, and I'm more of a Marvel guy, so I was very happy and content. But I had all these DC itches, for decades, literal decades, and they knocked on my door and said, "Would you like to come over and do a Superman book?" And I just, after 20 years, I kind of snapped, and I was like, "Yeah, I would like to do this very much," and I am just. It's just being in the DCU and opening up the toy box and being able to play with anything. I've wanted to do that take on the Prankster forever. And to get to do it with Mike Norton was a blast. And the design work for the look is so creepy and wonderful. And having like Jack Ryder in the book. And I'm so happy that guys like Steve Lombard are regulars. I grew up with Steve Lombard in the cast. Our first 6 issues are out in the collection's out if you want to catch up. And everything's in here. Like there isn't an issue that goes by where I don't hide a secret reference or stick in some kind of something for the 5%. Or just get my yayas off by having the Supermobile in it,
Exactly.
So, yeah, and we've got in the upcoming issues, we're doing Beppo. We're bringing back Beppo the Super Monkey, and I'm just so happy. I'm trying to you just pick up any issue, and it's everything from the Creeper to Guy Gardner to Damian Wayne, Robin to Kelly's version of Birds of Prey. All these you can just pick from anything and throw it in there. and try to do a modern age Silver Age feel to
Exactly.
this
Well,
book.
yeah, man. Well, and also I want to talk about the big through line right now in your Superman book, and that's the idea that kryptonite is this precious metal that is being treated not just as Superman's weakness, but these countries that are using it to fuel their, you explain it better, Dan.
Oh, well, it's the inciting incident of Superman Unlimited is a giant meteor's heading to Earth, and Superman goes to punch it out of the sky, and it's covered in a thin layer of a neutron, a metal from the Legion of Superheroes time that Superman can't see through. He thinks it's a meteor made of a neutron. And what happens is underneath it's solid kryptonite. So it's kind of like what Wakanda has with the Great Mound. There is this Superman, he had to use all his powers and abilities to stop it from becoming an extinction level event on Earth. But now it's in this one South American country, and it's now their most precious resource. And you think it's just, oh, will sell it to Superman villains. Now everyone can have kryptonite weapons, and Superman's in trouble all the time. But it's more than that because there's so much kryptonite, and it's radioactive, but apparently not harmful. This version to humans, this version of Green K, so they're using it uh, to power countries in like remote locations. They're using it to fuel spaceships. Since it is this super valuable metal, people are wearing it like jewelry. It's everywhere. So it's making Superman's life a little harder. When I was a kid, I was reading my regular go-to books were Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1, DC Comics Presents was in there because I liked all the team up books. And it was always weird to see Superman team up with another hero because he was so much more powerful than them. And it felt like, why does Superman need to team up with anybody? And I always had that feeling growing up, like Superman can just do anything at any moment in time. So by putting him in a world that is filled with kryptonite, it means he's going to have to sweat a little harder. And he's still the Superman you know and love. He's still lifting an oil tanker above his head, and he's still fighting all these classic villains. But now at any moment, like someone could punch him with a pair of kryptonite brass knuckles, or shoot him with a kryptonite bullet. And yeah, I'm having a blast. The hardest thing about this book, John, is my favorite stories growing up with Superman are all Red K stories.
Okay, sure.
Now I have the head of an ant. Now I have to eat 10,000 burgers or I'll die. There are all those. He gets hit by some kind of Red K and everything goes crazy. And it is taking all my willpower to only do one Red K kind of story a year, like to spread them out and not go super nuts. So like this year so far, he saves a woman who had kryptonite jewelry and she was wearing kryptonite lipstick and she kissed him thank you on the cheek and it weakened him. And then he went to help out with Man Bat and he got bit and he became Superman Bat. And I was so happy. So it's one whole issue where it's Robin and the Birds of Prey trying to deal with Superman Bat.
Yep.
That's what this book is. We are not reinventing the wheel. You're not going to get some like Alan Moore anatomy lesson level story that reinvents. No, this is like a big bowl of mac and cheese, Silver Age mac and cheese. And you're going to be happy. You're going to read this book and you're going to go, I just read a fun superhero book and life's great. And we're kind of leaning into that hard because of the world sucks, John.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to sit down and write these stories about this all-powerful guy who could do anything he wants, and what he really wants to do is help us. He really wants to look out for us, and he cares about all of us. And that's such a nice fantasy to wrap yourself in for 20 minutes. That's the vibe. Oh God, and this week coming up, Word Balloon.
Yes, indeed.
we're doing our first big Superman line wide thingy, where it's because of events in DCKO, Superman goes missing.
He'll be back, but not for now. Yeah.
He will be back, yeah. But so very much like after Death of Superman, there was the reign of the Superman. We are doing in our books Reign of the Superboys. So throughout all the Superman titles, there is a Superboy character that will be forefront in these storylines. Obviously in Mark Waid's action, it is the real Clark Kent Superboy. And over in Superman, it is Superboy Prime. And Josh is having fun with this character that going all meta, who can break the fourth wall. And Sophie is using a character that Mark Waid pointed out to her, this obscure Superboy character, which will make people super happy when he shows up. And I am going for the cheap seats. Our book, one of our core characters is John Kent. So we're going to do a story where you're going to get the Super Sons John Kent back. You're going to be like, what? No, how is this possible? You're going to have to read Superman Unlimited number 11 out next week to find out. I'm really excited about this.
I got a sneak look. I've read the issue, and it's fun. It's great, and very interesting things happening to John Kent. I'll leave it at that. But it is great, and yeah, man. No, it's I mean, truly, as much as people, obviously, it was very divisive to age up John, and I remember when Brian Bendis did it because people were having such a great time with 12-year-old John and Damian palling around. So I understand that, and it's we didn't want to let go. So I was okay with it, but I certainly understood everybody that's like, oh man, it was Peter that was writing that.
Tomasi.
Yeah, Tomasi, and it was terrific, man. So
the Super Sons, and we are gonna lean into that. So expect to see a return of Damian, of course. I'm trying to be very judicious and careful. I've already told you one of the big things that's coming up is we will get an all new version of Beppo the Super Monkey.
I'm very excited about that as well. But regarding Superman Clark, before he went off, a new power introduced. I want you to kind of explain it. Yeah,
it's kind of similar to a power that Jeff Johns gave him, but slightly different. Where his body can take all the yellow sun energy and kind of shove it to the forefront for 200 seconds. And for 200 seconds, he is golden Superman. And when he's in this mode, he is completely invulnerable to kryptonite. But once the 200 seconds are over, all the yellow sun energy has been spent. And not only is he like a normal human, but he's a normal human who, because of his Kryptonian physiognomy, he's still endangered by the kryptonite. So he's in a worse spot that he was in before. So he has to be very careful when he uses this, because it'll take him a whole day to recharge back up. It's not a power he wants to use at the drop of a hat. And so the second he does it, 200 seconds.
Well, first of all, that's a very Gemini man of you, if you remember your Ben Murphy throwaway television shows, and I'm sure you do. But also, so you also have to use that judiciously as well, because, that's going to be interesting to see how you play with it.
Well, there was a twist ending I wanted to do at the end of the first issue, and it was too big of a twist ending. That all the went all the way up the flagpole, and people went, "You are not doing that in your first. This is your first go at Superman. If you crash and burn, you are not going to be the guy who did that to Superman and then left the book or something. You need to earn your spot. You need to get a little dirt on you first before you can do something like that." But we still wanted to twist the end, and Paul Kaminsky suggested the golden thing. and
Okay.
because he liked the superpowers toy where Superman was gold, and he was like, "Can we do something with that?" And my initial response was, "You're cutting your legs out from under me, man," because like my whole premise is there's kryptonite everywhere, and you immediately want to give him this thing that makes him invulnerable to kryptonite. Like you're killing my premise. And we kicked it around. And I went, oh wait, I got it. What if he can only what I gave it that scary limitation? And then he was like, oh, that works. Okay, let's do that. I'm having a blast working with Kaminsky. He's a really fun editor to work with.
That's excellent,
Um,
man. No, and
yeah.
again, it was scary when that happened. And yeah, he's in bed, and I mean, is he going to recover? It reminded me too of that post Infinite Crisis moment where he was depowered and everything. So, but no, it's cool. And all right, so the reign of the Superboys. How long is that going to last? How many
Um,
issues, or
it's
how many
it's
months, I should say?
it's going to be like a good 4 months, and then
Okay.
there's a secrety thing that's going to happen. Well, then there's going to be a big event in the this world of Superman, which will be Action Comics 1100, which will be a big issue, and then after Action 1100, there'll be another Superman thing. And all I can tell you is if you are a fan of the DC Superman titles, you really want to get caught up on Superman Unlimited, because stuff that we are specifically setting up in this book, um, with the Green K and El Caldero and stuff, it is going to play a major role in an upcoming Superman line wide thing. It will be the bedrock of this. So you're really going to want to catch up if you haven't been checking out the book so far.
That's cool. Obviously you and Josh Williamson at various times have been in charge of big events. Who are you? Are you guys like, who's the
And
point person?
Josh is clear. It's Superman is the title. Like
Okay.
if when you want to read about the Superman who's in DCKO and you want
Yeah.
to read about the Superman who's front and center, we're kind of like what Wade's doing with World's Finest or Justice League Unlimited. What you get when you read this book, when you pick up an issue of Superman Unlimited, even when we're doing Reign of the Superboys, I want to give you a full unit of entertainment. And it's usually going to be a done in one story. And if it's not a done, it'll be a two-parter at best. Like we just did a two-part prankster story. Or when Superman finally went to El Caldero, that was a two-parter. But Superman Bat or the Creeper and Fighting Intergang, or all these different stories are usually it's a nice done in one. You plunk down your money, you get your comic, you read your comic, boom, you got a full unit of entertainment.
That
That's what it's for.
okay.
And
Also,
it's hopefully it's also written in a way where if you haven't been reading DC books for a long time, if you saw the James Gunn movie and you got excited about the character, you can be a complete noob and you can pick up this book and it'll be very new reader friendly. Yeah, anyone can pick this up if you have any love of Superman. If you're listening to this now and you're like, oh, I like Slott Spider-Man, you try out our Superman book. I don't read DCs. Just try it out. If you like Superman, you don't have to do a deep dive.
well, and again, you're doing the fun book, and I appreciate that. And with that in mind, I can't
Mm,
imagine, and I don't want you to spoil because I know it's
mm.
such a brief story, but you're in the Spider-Man Superman crossover over at Marvel. Yeah, and I want to hear, and so
Ah!
I'll even just let you describe that. What's your story about, Dan? We kind of know, but tell everybody.
The what we're doing, it's like, oh my god, when they were doing the Batman Deadpools, um every single creator in comicdom was writing CB and Marie, going like, I want to be a part of this, I want to be a part of this, you're doing crossovers, I want to be a part. And I wrote them both an email, I CC'd both of them, going, I'm not one of those guys, like, chill. Like, you guys are getting flooded with this. I'm saying you missed an obvious thing. we're a year away from the 50th anniversary of Jerry Conway. Yeah. And Ross Andrew doing Superman, Spider-Man, like, which is like a top 3 comic of my life.
Wait a minute, but you really were the guy that said, "Guys, what are you doing?
No,
Really, what's going to happen?" Go ahead.
I said, I wrote them this email going, you're missing the boat. You want a year from now, you want to do Superman, Spider-Man. And I get this very nice emails back from them, but in these emails, I can read the eye rolls going, gee, Dan, we had no idea. We had no idea that next year was, wow.
Excellent.
I'm dying.
Yeah, but that's a fair reflex on your part, so I understand. So therefore,
yeah, because I wanted to be a part of this so bad, because I was a kid. I was like an 8-year-old, 10-year-old kid who picked up that, 8-year-old. I was an 8-year-old kid who picked up that treasury, and it blew my mind that these two universes could collide, that these two characters could meet. It was so seminal. I had talked to Jerry Conway dozens of times and hung out with him. And it wasn't until the Stanley Memorial on Broadway, when we're and the kind of like the after thing where everyone's like noshing and hanging out and talking, and I looked over and there was Jerry, and he was talking to some pivotal DC people and Marvel people. And then the light bulb went off in my head and I went, Jerry, like, I couldn't believe I never asked you about this. Like, all this stuff we've talked over the years. You're the guy that wrote Superman, Spider-Man. You wrote like one of the most important comics of my life. And I'm like, what was that like? How did you even approach that? And he told me the secret. He said, I was too young and too stupid to know how important it was. Which I love. I love that so much. I wanted in on this so effing bad. And when I got the call, like, do you want to be part of Superman, Spider-Man? The Marvel side invited me first. And the rule was you need an element from Superman's world to meet an element of Spider-Man's world in the backups. And the only thing that was verboten that I was told don't do it is have Superman meet Spider-Man. Like, you can have, Spider-Gwen meet Supergirl. You can have, this, that, the other.
Anything other than the main story, which obviously Brad Meltzer is doing. So yeah, okay.
Meltzer, on the Marvel side. And I just kept coming back to him like, I want to do Spider-Man, Superman. I was but I was like, what if you did it a weird way? What if it was like 67 Spider-Man meeting 68 Superman cartoon
Superman and the Spider-Man, absolutely.
And they're like, no, then that would be a nightmare for like legal reasons. And I was like, what about Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man meeting Christopher Reeve Superman? And they're like, no, did you not hear us before? Like, no. And I just kept pitching. And at one point, I think it was CB who went like, you're the Spider-Verse guy. Pick a spider from the Spider-Verse. And that's when it hit me. Like, Spider-Man Noir is in the 30s. Golden Age Superman's 1938. I'm like, boom. Doing all like, and I called up Marcos Martin and I was like, would you like to do this with me? And he was like, could it be Fleischer Superman? And I'm like, yes, it could. So you read this, the way I describe it to people is I go like, you know how you'll be watching a movie and they're like cooking bacon and you can smell it, I look at Marcos's pages and I can hear the Fleischer music, the bump, 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 bump. I can hear it whenever I'm flipping the pages. I'm not going to tell you what's in it, but we crammed a lot in this short. There are a lot of it tells a story, but we put there, if you're paying attention, we cram a lot of nods to, you'll see it when you see it. I don't want to spoil a single thing. One of the things we talked about was like, that I talked to Marvel about is I don't want a page of this going out for previews. It's a short story. You give away a page, you've given away a big chunk of the story. I want people
Yeah,
to, I want
yeah.
people are going to buy this. There's going to be butts in the seats. Please don't show a single page of Marcos and my story. Show the Meltzer stuff. Like, I want people to pick up that comic and hit it fresh and see all those pages for the first time.
Am I wrong? Is it 10 pages? Is it 5 pages? Because good news before you answer, you know how to write a really great short story that is very, very dense. And I want to say dense, a lot of shit in a good way.
It's going to be along the sizes of the stories you saw in the Batman Deadpools for the Batman. Okay. So it's in that zone of their shorts, but I got to tell you, it really was, working on this was like checking a really big box in my wish list. And if I wake up and I'm having a bad day and the world is awful, this story has been finished. It has been penciled, inked, colored by Months of Vincente. It's beautiful. Lettered Joe Caramagna. It's been in a drawer. It was on the Marvel side, I think it is the first story that was finished. And it has been sitting there, a perfect little polished gem. And everyone from DC and Marvel have both done their approvals, so no one can touch it. It's all been approved down to the comma. I am so happy with it that whenever I'm having a bad day, I read the entire story, and it gives me the dopamine hit I need to just immediately start up the engine and go. And it hasn't worn off yet. I still, this is going to be one of those things. I look at like the end of the year. I look at like 10 years from now. I'm like, that was a goodie. that one's nice.
No, I know. I'm excited for you and excited for the idea. I ask everybody because Action 1 public domain is coming. Would you ever down the road want to do more with the first version of Superman?
My intro to Superman as a kid was a library book that was like the Superman from the 30s to the 70s.
I have that book. Yes, sir.
In the elementary school library, that back when you had the cards and it would have your name.
Yeah.
The entire card was my name. It was just I would return it and immediately check it back out. And it was all my name. And that book, obviously Super Friends was on when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
You could watch the George Reeves show in syndication. Yep. But the thing that put everything over the top was at my temple, we would have a Purim carnival every year. And one of the guys in the congregation, he had a movie theater that showed classic movies. And for the kids, he would have a booth at the Purim carnival where you'd actually go back into the temple, and he had set up a screen and he showed cartoons all day. And they're all cartoons from reels. And they were all, Betty Boop and Felix the Cat and like really old stuff. And he had the Fleischer Supermans. And I would watch those on a screen once a year. I would like blow off the rest of the Purim Carnival and I would just stay in that room. And it was all about the Fleischer Supermans. And he would, like, if I was the only one there and he said any requests, and I'd be like, put on another Superman. So that was the Fleischer Supermans mean so much to me. And when I was working on this with Marcos, he kept going, oh, we could do a whole 5-issue mini of this. and we're the slowest. The irony of us being the first guys finished is insane because I'm one of the slowest writers in comics, and he's one of the slowest artists. And I was like, I'd be like, maybe a 48-page special. Like, I don't think the world would see a 5-issue mini. One of the things I was bummed about because of time, because you want to serve the characters and serve the premise. We're only really dealing with gangsters. And boy, in this day and age, would I love to have had them punch some Nazis. So, yeah. So next time around, we get.
But again, that's perfect for both characters, the noir character and Action 1 Superman, 38 Superman. So that's cool.
I could not have been happier doing this. And it really scratched, not just a big itch, but it ticked, like I said, that box that I've had my whole life of getting to do a Superman Spider-Man crossover was the best. Yeah.
Well, good transition. Go ahead. Oh no, keep going. Finish.
Yeah,
your
no,
thought.
but I was saying in coming up because I have these murderers row of things coming up.
Yes.
Where we got Reign of the Superboys, we've got Superman, Spider-Man crossover, got a one-shot with Mark Buckingham, Fantastic Four First Foes, where it's my first time writing a story set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Interesting.
So it's that Fantastic Four. It's the Fantastic Four of the movies, and producer Grant Curtis approved everything. He was the producer on the movie, and Kevin Feige signed off on this. It was a blast to work on because I love the Fantastic Four, but it was a blast to work on this iteration of the Fantastic Four, and to have there we go. It's like, he was looking at me, little Herbie, because I got to be on set with like all these Marvel guys, and I really connected with Herbie. And he was running around and grabbing stuff and handing you things and beeping and booping. And I was just like being a guest on the Muppet Show. I was ignoring all the handlers and everyone using the remote controls and the virtual arms over there. I'm like, they don't exist. I am hanging out with Herbie the robot. We got to hang out with Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, and we got to see the Fantastic Car. We got to go on all the sets. So their version of Times Square, the Baxter Building, the outside of the Baxter Building, the residential area of the Baxter Building, the labs of the Baxter Building. We're on these golf carts zipping around all the sets, and we're turning a corner, and one of our Marvel guides was like, everyone, like, hold down Slott. He's going to freak out. Like, hold down. So I'm like, what? And then we drove on to Yancey Street. And I'm like, we're on Yancey Street. So like, I got to see everything. It was fantastic.
Had to be a time warp, though, to be in their living space with that fantastic retro. Yeah, man.
Retro future.
That's our childhood. Oh, my God.
It was amazing. And all the little touches that some don't make it onto the screen that you get to see.
Sure.
All the love, the noodling. I had a blast, and that's
the key to a great filmmaker, though, man. Where literally for the actors to really believe that there's going to be things in the set, props or whatever that aren't going to make it on screen, but that they can adjust. I mean, old Hollywood reference. There's a great Burt Lancaster movie like that where he's going in a drawer and there are these beautiful Italian shirts. Never going to be on screen, but he's playing an Italian aristocrat, so he knows they're there. Keep going.
Oh yeah. No, there were magazines that you never saw where different FF characters are on the covers and that were just like in their living area. Then there's so much extra stuff. But this was like a dream project on two levels. I only was taking one bite at this apple. There's been some incorrect reporting that I'm working on the Shalabal book. The females. I'm not.
Yes, yes.
I'm just doing this one.
Okay.
And the way Matt Fraction just did his one.
Yeah.
We're all taking different guys are getting a chance to get a bite of the apple. Because it's not every day Marvel Comic, because Marvel Comics likes being in front of the movies, with the movies trying to catch up to the comics. That we want to be the thing that they're mined. We don't want to be the thing mining them. But it's very rare we do a comic set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's an anathema. It just doesn't happen. So getting a chance to do that was a nice honor. And there was this one assignment I did around the time when I married off Ben and Alicia, where Gail Simone did a one shot, the FF wedding special, where she did the bachelorette party as the main story. And I jumped in and did the backup. And the backup, it was all about Ben putting on his best suit, getting onto that Kirby bike thing he has, flying over to Rikers Island, and getting an audience with the puppet master in his cell so that he could ask his permission to marry his daughter. That's the story. And Mark Buckingham drew it. And every page was a joy. Mark Buckingham is one of the greats. And I became annoying after we did this short, where whenever there was any hole in the schedule, I'd be like, could I get Bucky? Can I work with Bucky again? Can I work with Bucky? And they're like, no, he's busy. He's doing Miracle Man. He's doing this. He's doing that. He was like tied up. And they one of the things is that, can we do this in the MCU? And I'm like, who's the artist? And I'm Mark Bucky. And I'm like, So I got to do a whole issue with Bucky. And I cheated. That I really tried to make all the characters have the right voice, except for Ben. There is one voice for Ben in my head, and that's the way I write Ben. And I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be Eben Moss. I'm just writing the thing. And yeah, whenever I get to write the thing, I'm writing the thing. There's silly panels in this that just make me ungodly happy. There's one bit where like Ben is like punching the Mad Thinker's not his awesome android, but his android, his first android, the big green one. Yep. And you just get this close-up shot of Buckingham drawing like the most Jack Kirby style Ben Grimm fist and a robot hand and all these 60s speed lines. And I look at that and I'm like, the only way you could make me any happier if this is all in Ben-Day dots and I can put silly putty over it and make an impression. That is the only thing that would make me happier. The whole job, it's just so much fun. It's a done in one story. It's the origin of the Mad Thinker in that universe. In the Fantastic Four First Steps, they name drop, along with the Red Ghost and the Super Apes, they also name drop Diablo and the Mad Thinker and the Puppet Master, and there's a number of guys they name drop. The Mole Man, you see. And so a lot of these specials are going to deal with who are those guys. And there's the fun of, well, we didn't see them, and we don't want to just do what like Stan and Jack did. How would they look in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? What would the Mad Thinker be like? That was a hoot.
And when is that out? When is that?
That's coming up this month. So
oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it goes Reign of the Superboys next week, and then like the week after will be Fantastic Four First Foes #1, gorgeous Phil Noto cover, and some beautiful variants, and then I think it goes back to like the next issue of Reign of Superboys. Then you get Spider-Man, Superman. And then coming up in May is the big news is we're doing Spectacular Spider-Man. But it's Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day. And this book, it's going to be by Marcus Toe, who did X-Force, and me. And my pal Marcus Martin is coming in and doing these feature things with me. I'm not going to say what they are yet, so you can see them. They're very cool. But this is me now talking to you, word balloon listener. If you are a reader and you loved reading, you had fun reading my run of Spider-Man and you want more of it, please put this on your pull list now. The final order for our first issue is March 30th. Please put this on your pull list now. If you are a retailer, we know you're going to order issue number 1 well. No doubt. Everyone always does that with number 1. This is me talking to you. I need you on issue 2. When it's time to put in your orders for issue 2, I need you to order this like you're ordering your Dan Slott Spider-Man comic for issue 2, instead of like, hey, there's like 12 other books with blind bags and I'm going to put all my money into that. We're at a point now where Marvel is when books come out, Marvel books come out, no matter what they are, they're lined up for 5 issues at a time. And what that means is if you don't support the issue 2s and 3s, these books will go away by issue 5. If you as a retailer want a book on that stand to be perennial, you got to help me out. You got to get me past issue 5. And the way to do that is to order well on 2 and order well on 3. This is, even though it's called Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day, and the first arc is set in the Brand New Day era,
Okay.
the next arc will pop it into the present. And this will be your Spectacular Spider-Man book. And Mr. Retailer and Mrs. Retailer and Ships at Sea, that you would like to have more books on the rack. You would like there to be a Detective Comics with your Batman. This could be a perennial Spectacular Spider-Man book. My pledge to you is our first arc. There's going to be a movie called Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it's going to be huge, and people are going to come into your shop, and maybe they've never bought a comic before. This is an easy book to hand sell them. It is a Spider-Man number 1. Even though it's set in Brand New Day era, I can promise you we're doing things in this book to make it very new reader friendly. Anyone can jump onto this book and read it, and it will feature in its main story Spider-Man and a very cool take on the Punisher, who will be one of the main characters. And I'm trying to do stuff with my guys at CSA to try to pump up the profile of this. So we've got right now on tap, and I've seen it. It's gorgeous. We have an all new variant cover that no one's seen yet, by Giuseppe Camicoli, with Spidey and the Punisher on it. You look at it and you go, that's a number 1. So it's a book that's going to have a number 1 on it. It's a Spider-Man book. It'll have an attachment, an easy sell to people who've just seen the movie. But at its heart, it's me doing Spider-Man again. And I would like to do this book for the rest of my life. That please let me write Spider-Man for the rest of my life. I will be there on this book as long as you support it. And I'm trying to impress upon you that back in the day, even with the last run of the last Spider-Man book, I have a really good record. that if you throw every monthly Spider-Man book I've done into a bag and you pull out a copy, you have a 1 in 3 chance that that was a book that sold out and went back to press. That's a pretty good statistic. That's a pretty nice bet. And it was even that way with the Adjectiveless Spider-Man book. And and that spun out the Spider-Boy book, which would made it to issue 20 and would still be going if I hadn't left to go do Superman. So this is a book that if you want a perennial on your stands, if you want one more option for your readers, the Joe Kelly Spider-Man book is still going to be coming out twice a month. It's still Amazing Spider-Man, but there could be an alternate book. There could be Spec with You every month if you support this title. And where I need you to support it is at issue 2 and at issue 3. So we can alter that trajectory and get us past 5. And if you get us past 5, if we make it to issue 8, which will be the December issue, that will be the 50th anniversary of Spectacular Spider-Man. And we will do something awesome for you. Also, I guarantee you the first arc we're doing will have 1 or 2 elements in it which will resonate and have effects on the world of Spider-Man in the present. And we will introduce at least 1 new superhero character to the Marvel Universe, kind of honoring the legacy of Spectacular Spider-Man, which introduced characters like Cloak and Dagger and was a home to characters like the White Tiger. You will have that kind of character in it. An all-new character who will not be a character with spider in their name or spider in their powers. It will be an all-new Marvel Universe, street-level Spider-Man universe, all-new character.
Interesting.
All I can say. So that's my push, John. There you go,
dude. I mean, I think we're all excited because of your legendary runs on Spider-Man. And do you feel you needed to take a break when you did, and now you feel invigorated again to do more stuff?
Well, what happened was I was doing it twice a month for 10 and a half years.
Yeah, man.
And it was very much like Lucy and Ethel at the Chocolate Factory. And you're just constantly getting this book out every other week. You're doing another issue of Spider-Man. And it was very much a monkey's paw. It's like, I wanted Spider-Man, but not like this.
Careful what you wish for. Absolutely, man. Well, I remember those 3 a.m. calls. Hey, John, are you awake? And again, I felt like Bob Newhart, man. And it's like, and it was great, Dan. You know that. But Dan and I are just hanging out. But I had a feeling, I'm like, all right, Dan needs a release. Dan needs a break. He needs a brain break.
I love that time in my life. And people will say, like, would you ever go back to Amazing? And I'd be like, hell no. I would never go back to twice a month Spidey. So when I went back to do Adjectiveless Spider, and you look at like when I stopped, I went on to do Iron Man and Fantastic Four for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And during that time, I kept writing Spider-Man stuff. Like Amazing 1000, Amazing Fantasy 1000, or having Spider-Man and Wolverine take over as part of the FF for Empire, or I could not go a year without writing Spider-Man stuff, because I did it for like a fifth of my life, and I got to the point where, like, you're walking down the street and the muse strikes you, you get an idea for a story, but for me it's different. Because it would pop into a gear and go, well, that's a good idea for a Spider-Man story. Oh, I'm not writing Spider-Man anymore. Because Spider-Man's my favorite character of all time, and I had such a blast doing this. And when I did the monthly Spider-Man book, where it was just Adjectiveless with Bagley, we hit our issue 7 of that book was the best-selling single issue for Marvel that year. That's why they went, you are doing a Spider-Boy book, and you are doing it now. And when we did Spider-Boy, when Spider-Boy #1 came out, there was only one single issue that beat it that year, and that was the Ultimate Spider-Man #1. So that's in pretty rarefied air. That's, you know, so my track record on this shit is good, John. Yeah, it came time to like, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep doing Spider-Man? We want you to keep doing Spider-Boy. So yeah, now that I'm back, and I got a shot at doing Spectacular. Yeah, hell yeah. This would be a dream gig. This would be, you get to do Spider-Man once a month. You get to do your own thing. You get to be in your own little pocket. Yeah, if Joe Kelly decides that Spider-Man loses his left arm, well, then he's going to lose his left arm in our book too.
Okay.
But it'd be a chance to do like, oh, I'm gonna tell Spider-Man stories. I'm gonna do Spider-Man things. The one thing I could promise you is, if I get to do this book, and we get to keep going, I am never writing Dr. Octopus again.
Have you? I was going to ask, have you, as you're clearing your throat, have you had the opportunity to talk to Joe about the way he's using Norman? Because obviously it's different. Don't get me wrong.
No. But yeah, he's you know, Zeb was also putting Norman on the
true. Yes,
path with Gold Goblin, and
well,
now
that's
Joe
true. But I mean specifically him
Joe
being
has him in
Spider.
the suit. Oh no, I'm digging it. I'm digging all the stuff that Joe's doing. I, as a fan, I love reading Spider-Man. I loved reading Ultimate Spider-Man. I liked, you know, you know, Chip Zdarsky puts out like Life Story. I want to read it as a fan. I just want to happily be over here doing doing my like doing like my little Spider-Man book off to the side. Like I look at like a year or two ago where I did like in Spider-Boy, I hit this moment where I kind of, and you can see it in my Superman work too. I hit the fuck it button, where it's kind of like, I'm not writing this for anyone else other than me. And if you enjoy it, come along for the ride. I'm just writing stuff that makes me happy. I'm writing the most self-indulgent stuff, and I'm so happy. So there's like these 2 issues of Spider-Boy, where I'm trying to, ever since I did that story, End of the Spider-Verse, I did the original Spider-Verse saga, and then I did the thing called End of the Spider-Verse. Those are like my two bites of the apple. But because Spider-Boy's origin was tied to that End of the Spider-Verse story, I kind of had to solve the problem of having the world remember him. He had a quick 2-issue jaunt into the Spider-Verse. And you read those issues, 9 and 10 of Spider-Boy, they're the most self-indulgent. There's like a multiple sequence, a cameo by Howard the Duck, where he's put on a spider costume and he's pretending to be a character called Spider Duck that fell out of the Spider-Verse, and he's just mooching off of the Spider Society, like eating their catered plates and watching their streaming services. And they're kind of like, well, you're just Howard the Duck in a costume. Get out of here. So I got to do like a cameo Howard the Duck, and then a sequence where Bailey gets lost in the Spider-Verse and he ends up inside Leopardon. And we just do a straight up you know, Toei Japanese live action Spider-Man adventure with Spider-Boy operating the giant robot. And we did like all the kind of beats in the show, fighting the kaiju, all the correct battle formation. It was just me going to everyone who read Spider-Verse. I know you got upset that I short shrifted Leopardon. He got totally jobbed. I'm just going to do a straight up look. I swear to God, I've watched the entire series. We're just going to play it straight. and do a mini Japanese live action Spider-Man episode. And then at the end of it, instead of finding his way back home, he ends up in Spider-Man 67 universe. And then we did a whole issue where we're showing that like Spider-Man and his amazing friends are still alive. We're showing like, because people are like, oh, you killed them. No, they're fine. They're over here. Look, they're back alive. Yay. And oh, you did Spider-Girl Mayday Parker dirty in the Spider-Verse stories. And I'm like, look, she's back. Everything's great. Look, her dad's alive. Even his leg even grew back. Everything's fantastic. It's just me kind of going, wee. Hey, you don't acknowledge enough about John Semper. And okay, fine. Look, he's hanging out with the original characters from Spider Wars. Hey, look, he's hanging out with Twinkie Spider-Man. He's alive too. Yeah, everybody's fine. I was just having like this, fun tour around the Spider-Verse, undoing all the shock value deaths that I did just to go, I'm cleaning everything up. It's all fine. And I look at those 2 issues and I'm like, that was fun. That was just fun. Having Bailey Briggs getting yelled at by J. Jonah Jameson from 67 was just like a blast. No,
when you first brought back 67 Spider-Man in the first Spider-Verse, that made me very, very happy. And again, you and I talked about it, and it just was great because that was my first Spider-Man, man. I can't deny it. Yeah, man. No, exactly. Dan and I'm a little older than Dan. But yeah, man, syndicated cartoons. Just a little, but yeah, syndicated cartoons, man. No, it's the best.
Yeah, so yeah, you get me back in there. I will happily tell you yarns.
It reminds me of when Jenkins was doing Spectacular, and we got the more, and that's, forgive me, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But yeah, no, let me get back in the seat. I won't go anywhere. I'll just be like happily telling new Spidey stories for the rest of my life. I have no intention. Like I think with the other book you added up, I get past 12 years now. And it's not like oh, you're burned out and you have no Spider-Man stories. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got Spider-Man stories. I'm so happy. Yeah. The weird thing is I got this, even if I'm doing spec, I've got this one Spider-Man story I've never told. This mini series, and it's far too violent. And whenever I've talked to like even Wacker or Nick Lowe about it, they're like, you can't do that in the main series. Like that would have to be like a red band thing or something, or it's
almost like Vertigo Spider-Man across streams, if you will.
Well, it's kind of like, you can see it with characters like Carnage. Like when you have Carnage in the story, things get very violent. And I don't usually go for violence. But this is the violence is very key to the story. But yeah, I wouldn't want an 8-year-old kid picking up an issue of Amazing or Spec and hitting this story. I would want it very clear on the cover. So there is like one golden Spider-Man story that's been in my pocket that I haven't told. And there's a Spider-Man story that I've been saving for a special occasion that I haven't told yet. So there are some ones that are like, yeah, they're in your pocket. But what I'm talking about is kind of like the fun Mark Waid is having on World's Finest, where, he's just coming up with new yarns. He's just spinning new tales and what's going to happen next. And I will happily do that with Pete. And it would be fun to bring back like, my villains, like guys that I created that Joe probably wouldn't want to play with. or whoever's on the main title. And
Am
hey,
I remembering correctly? Like Mr. Negative would be one. Am I right about that?
Mr. Negative is a key character in the first arc of Spec. But yeah, characters like whether it's Paper Doll or Screwball or the version of the Wraith that's Yuri Watanabe. There are all these different characters I would love to do that wouldn't take away from the greater mythos. And like I always remember, like, there was a time when I was reading comics and Amazing wasn't the book I wanted to follow, and it was Peter David's Spectacular Spider-Man. Like, more people were buying Amazing, but like I dropped off of Amazing and I switched over to Spectacular, and you were having stuff like the original Sin Eater story and all these really random and offbeat tales. And I would love to be that book. That book that's over there, kind of like doing what we're doing in Superman Unlimited, but doing it in the world of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just these self-indulgent, really fun stories, or offbeat or weird. And yet I always like what's going on in the Marvel universe. And when new characters pop up and new things happen, and it would be fun to have those characters show up over in Spider-Man and hang out.
Well, like you made the example of Wade, and I agree with you. And Mark has reached a point in his career that our fans like me, obviously, we know what we're going to get in the best way, and he still excites us. And I would say Johns was like that, Jeff was like that before he went to Ghost Machine. So there's an expectation of those guys that, all right, they know what they're doing in this universe, and clearly you're the same way, and it's great. And also I'm thrilled that you're showing it with Superman, but it is great that you're getting back to even a cinematic FF, but this Spectacular Spider-Man even more so, because yeah, man, it's like, you're a brand we can trust, Dan.
I also I like that I feel like I'm part of like a secret society of me and Dan Jurgens, of like the few that have written Superman and Spider-Man at the same time.
True. Indeed.
I don't think there are many. There are so many Spider-Man writers like Roger Stern and Marv Wolfman. So many guys, Bendis, who have written Spider-Man and they've written Superman.
Yes.
But I think it's a very rarefied air where you get to do a monthly Spider-Man book and a monthly Superman book at the same time. And it's one of those, nowhere else I'd be happier. That's the kind of like, well, that's great. I don't need to go to Hawaii. I don't need to go anywhere else. I'm in my little like happy zone. Just doing this every month would be great. So
that's outstanding.
Please help make this happen.
Absolutely, man. No, you're juggling cool pins, and we want to keep them in the air, because then as long as you want to do it and everything. And again, I'm excited.
Yeah, as long as I can keep working with guys like Lucas Meyer on Superman Unlimited and Marcus Toe on Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm so happy with the product. I'm so happy. Well, product's the worst way to say it. I'm so happy with the results. And what we're doing, and I'm so happy.
Can I? And I know you're short for time, but I wanted to say, and then this is a happy conversation that we can have. I am so jonesing for Doctor Who, and I have no idea what the hell they're gonna do. You know what I bought, Dan? I bought the Humble Bumble of Big Finish. The audios, because they do an amazing, as you know, they do an amazing job. But yeah, man, and thank God for Classic Who. But I am hunting for all the free streamers to look at stuff, because, goddamn, man, I'm bummed that we're gonna have to wait till December for the special, and God only knows what's gonna happen after that.
I have no idea, but I have faith. You and I are people that lived through the wilderness years. And then suddenly we had this thriving Doctor Who franchise for since 2005. It's going to be hard. I kind of feel like it's hard. It would be really hard to kill it. No, too valuable, bud. They can't kill it.
And I just hope we're not gonna. I mean, we're still waiting for a new James Bond. We're still, we don't know what's gonna happen with Indiana Jones after Dial of Destiny. But again, these are too valuable. Even don't worry,
I don't.
but even Star Trek, you can't kill these things. They might rest for a little while, but you can't
You
kill these.
you would really. It really takes. It really takes a Roger Moore. And no offense, Lazenby, but it takes a Roger Moore. It takes a Patrick Troughton. It takes that person to get you over the hump. It better be the second freaking coming of Christ for Indiana Jones. Like if you're the guy who's the second Indiana Jones, I'm sorry. It's Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. But I'm sure people said that about Sean Connery. Like Sean Connery is Bond.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Well, that's what Lazenby faced. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, like I'm sure it's all of that. Um
But
Doctor
Dan, regarding real fast with Indiana Jones, because I always give him credit for this. Artie Baltazar was so right. It sounds crazy, but they should do one movie with Sean Patrick Flannery from Young Indiana Jones because he's already been Indiana Jones, and I'm sure you can get him at a reasonable price and just some as a bridge, kind of like what they're saying about what's Bakula coming back as Jonathan Archer, and just give us one little thing today.
I would rather have Ki-Hai Kwan be short round.
Short round. Absolutely. And I love short.
And carry on the legacy that way.
That's another thing that Artie said where they, they would love to say
that. There's only one way I think I could accept a new Indiana Jones. Because we live in a world where there's so many good sound-alikes and people who nail a voice. If you Pixar'd the hell out of it and you made an animated Indiana Jones and you had someone who went in there and in the same way the real Ghostbusters had a guy who was kind of Bill Murray-ish. If you had a guy who was Harrison Ford-ish, and we know it's not Harrison Ford, but it's and they just really did a whole bunch of really good animated, I would accept it animated. But the minute you make it
Mark
live action,
could do it.
yeah. But the minute you make it live action, I don't buy it.
Interesting. Because honestly, man, I think Bradley Cooper would have and still might be a decent Indiana Jones. But I respect your face that you're making to me right now. I understand.
At that point, make a new character that does that kind of thing. Like look at Mission Impossible. It's not James Bond.
Right. And Ethan Hunt wasn't James Phelps. You're right about that.
Yeah. Mission Impossible it. But don't the minute you have that character show up and he's Henry Jones Jr., named after the dog. Harrison Ford, you motherfucker. I'm sorry. You're now I feel like I'm being the centrist. Because Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite movie of all time. It is my single favorite movie of all time. No other movie comes close. Like I think I told you when it was my time I told everybody I was leaving Spider-Man at 800. And I was I kept saying 801. And the people kept, why? Because 800 is going to be the fireworks and 801 is going to be my kid who collected Spider-Man kind of story. And they're like, all right. But I kept telling everyone, yeah, I'm leaving 801. They hated that. And Axel Alonso, who's the EIC back then, kept taking me out to like lunches and going like, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'd be like, no.
Yeah, no.
I don't want it. And he'd be like, what do you want? And I kept saying the same thing over and over again. Because at that point we were doing the Star Wars movies, the Star Wars books, and Fantastic Four was off the plate. And I'd be like, I want to do Fantastic Four or Indiana Jones. And Axel would go, we're not doing Fantastic Four or Indiana Jones. I'd be like, okay. And we kept coming back, and it was lunch after lunch. He got, X-Men. You could be the god of X. You could chart the future of X-Men. And I'd be like, nah. He's like, what do you want? I'd like to do Fantastic Four, Indiana Jones. And he'd just be like, Deadpool. You want Deadpool? I'm like, no.
But are there much like animated or some of the other ties with Nicholas Hammond, Spider-Man, animated Spider-Man, whatever? Are there problems combining Indiana Jones with the Marvel Universe?
I don't think it's a question of the license and how the license works. There's no plans.
Okay.
But
Because aren't they finally doing Marvel Universe Star Wars, for
no,
example?
that's I think that's a rumor.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that's happening. I think that's in people's heads.
Oh, okay.
Though, if there ever was a universe where they did Marvel Universe Indiana Jones, it's really I know exactly what I would want to do.
Yeah.
And it would be Captain America Indiana Jones.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the tagline would be like, toss me the shield, I'll throw you the whip. Like, that's the visual I would want, is Indiana Jones with the shield and Cap with the whip.
Can the invaders be in there too?
What?
Can the invaders be in there too?
I thought you said Vader, and I was like, oh my God, invaders. You want some Star Wars too? Jesus, man.
Yeah, give me the whip.
No. Yeah, but my take is that it would be like, some kind of Marvel treasure.
Of course. Sure.
It buried away. Some kind of like the serpent crown or something. And yeah, it would be a race to stop the Nazis from getting it.
The first not Eternals, the things the things that are in the earth and everything,
the Celestials?
Yeah, the first Celestial, exactly.
Yeah, it would be something like that, or a prototype of the Cosmic Cube, but it was done back then, and it may be in ancient Rama Tut times, and it's a cosmic pyramid.
I like it.
It could be
Come on.
anything.
All right, Brevoort, and all right, CB. Come on, man. We gotta have the story ready.
This is all coming out of my brain because I just had way too much fun with Spider-Man Noir and 1938 Superman. Oh, I had so much fun. To do it with Marcos Martin and Munza Vigente and Joe Caramagna, that was a dream.
Are we getting Spider-Man Noir, the Amazon show? Are we getting it this year, or is it next year?
We're getting it this year.
I know it's coming.
It's coming. But there've been trailers. It's going to be great, and that's the one thing that is not in this short. Out of everything I could have tipped my hat to, here I have Superman and Spider-Man Noir, and there's no Nick Cage joke at anything. Because that would have been, in my mind, that would have broken the fourth wall. And you would have gone like, that would have taken you out of the story if I did a Nick Cage reference. So no, that's the one thing that's not in there that you go, but that's so teed up. He wanted to be in Superman with Tim Burton, and he, blah, blah, blah. And now he's Noir and the two characters. And no, that's not in there.
So shorts aside, Spectacular Spider-Man and of course Superman Unlimited, is that enough for you to, again, I don't want to overwork you, but
there is a secret thing. There is a secret thing, but that is much later in the year.
Okay.
If we're able to get Spectacular up and running and be a true ongoing and break through the 5-issue barrier that everything's got nowadays, I will surely be shooting myself in the foot because of the future thing. And it just means that I will have to go into a cave and not see people for the duration of working on the secret thing later in the year, because that will be a finite project.
Okay.
The secret thing. But
Yeah.
so there'll be a world if I can successfully keep both ongoings ongoing. That will be a point in the year where I will get very little sleep, and I will have to be very studious and not go out with anyone, and not do anything other than just plant myself at this computer. And you probably won't see me on social media or anywhere else. I will, if we get to that zone, and it will be worth it. So, but I want to get to there. So please help.
Well, I'm glad the work is making you happy, and that's pretty self-evident.
Oh God,
So,
yeah.
yeah, man. And truly, I know you're in a good place right now with both Superman Unlimited and what's coming with Spectacular Spider-Man, but everything in between, the Fantastic Four. Now, first foes?
First Foes #1.
Right.
Yep, and it's set in that universe. Oh my God, we were on set, and there is a point where Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby came on to say hi to everybody and hang out, and Tom DeFalco was being a little shy, and Tom Brevoort was being a little shy, and Vanessa Kirby was talking about all this research she'd done into Sue Storm, and how she was, one of the things that really excited her was she wanted to get to, a future movie where she could be Malice. And
Awesome.
And I kind of go, oh, Vanessa, this is Tom DeFalco. He created the Malice storyline. So I totally gassed up DeFalco, pushed him over. And Brevoort was kind of just hanging back. Everyone else is mingling. And then I kind of get Vanessa Kirby to come over and go, oh, this is Tom Brevoort. He's edited Fantastic Four longer than anyone in the history of comics. Oh, and Tom's talking to her. So I was like a little bit of an envoy. And at one point they're walking out. They've got to go do the next thing. And Vanessa Kirby turns to me and she blows me a kiss. And I'm like, I will now kill for this person.
No shit. Absolutely.
It was like, it was something that required so little effort when you think about it, but it was such a baller movie star move. And it was done with like movie star class. It was like of a different era. And I was like, oh, that was, I will now kill for Vanessa Kirby.
I really enjoyed what she did in the movie, and I would love to see a solo Invisible Woman movie. I really would.
She was so good.
She really
Evan Ross was great. Pedro Pascal was great.
Oh no, all four of them were. But I mean, really, making her the leader was a bold choice that a lot of the haters are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I wasn't there. And even Shambhala as the Shalabal, excuse me, I never get it. But no, I'm like, okay, but this is an alternate Earth, so I'm okay with it. It being a female.
We've already seen a Silver Surfer with Doug Jones, and
right, and Fishburne, yeah. Right? Was it Fishburne that was
doing the voice?
Yeah.
The thing that I loved about it was it tried different things.
Yes,
it was the first FF movie with a Thing who had been far enough in his adventure that he didn't bear malice to Reed.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
He was cool, even though Reed isn't. Reed still has
right,
all the
respect. Guilt. Yeah.
But that was interesting to see. And still he feels awkward in his frame about whether he's going to be with Rachel, but he's very much hey, I'm the Thing. I can go down Yancey Street. And hey. And it was fun to see that compared to every other movie Thing.
Yeah.
Who's been, oh, woe is me, I was turned into a monster.
Like Chickless, yeah, when Chickless was doing it and everything. I'm with you.
Yeah, every movie version of the Thing, even like when he had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle suit in the the Carpenter movie, even when, and he's in the 4 movie, they've
Fantastic,
all been the oh, woe is me Thing. And this was Bronze Age Thing in a movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And I, as a Thing fan,
as a Thing writer. What are you talking about, man? Absolutely.
I just eat that up with a spoon. I was
Sure.
just like, what that was the take, you know. So yeah, when they offered me this, I was like, I jumped all over it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to write a movie. I want to write a comic set in that universe. That was fun.
I still don't understand why there isn't a thing solo book like there was when we were growing up, because I think there
You're,
is such a character
you're
opportunity.
breaking my heart.
I know,
Uh,
bud. I believe me. I know, but
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I
but
mean, because
that,
we're in this
there's
age where you can really develop character, and Ben is a guy that's so fascinating. I agree.
you're talking like
I know.
there's only like one or two books in my career where it just got canceled on me. But I've had books that have ended on me where they've gone, the book's going to end, and it's going to end like over here, and you can plan your exit, and you can like what Mike and I did with Surfer. We knew when the book was ending, and we had all the time in the world to line up our ducks. And but with Thing, oh, I had that plan up to issue 50 when I was writing the Thing, and I would have been on that book for that would have been another forever book for me. That would have been one of those, you couldn't get me off that book, and they got me off that book because they canceled it. So actually, yeah, now we're full circle because I did the whole Pull My Thing campaign to try to get people to put it on their pull lists. And the frustrating thing was, I think we did hit the numbers on the issue where we were canceled on. Like, if we just had more track, and we could have kept running. So I'm kind of in the same ballpark where I'm saying to fans, you want to see me write Spider-Man regularly, put this on your pull now. We have till March 30th is the FOC. And if you're a retailer, you're going to be hearing this pull from me, not this month, but next month, because it's got to be those issue 2s. That's where we need your help is issues 2s and 3s. Because there's so many worthy books that have come out that the issue 1 comes out and the order's great, and the issue 2 order's so low, because retailers always have to pay, they have to use next month's sales to pay this month's rent, or the other, or flip it. But so it's almost better to spend your money on the blind bags and this and the other in favor of the issue 2s and 3s. I'm saying let's make this an experiment. Let's try to Spectacular Spider-Man. This is a book like Detective Comics could be for Batman. This could be a book on your shelves that sells perennially to people, that it's easy to hand sell. It's a Spider-Man satellite book. We can do this. So yeah, it's issue 2s and 3s.
Well done, man. Well,
Yeah.
again, everybody, next week, Reign of the Superboys starts in Superman Unlimited. Then I know we've got. You give me the timeline, Dan.
It's Reign of the Superboys, Superman Unlimited, number 11. It's a great issue. You can jump on in here. And then me and Lucas Meyer. It's gorgeous. And then the following week, that's okay. So that's next week. And then the following week is Fantastic Four First Foes number 1 with me and Mark Buckingham in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, done in one story. Gorgeous art, just FF in your face. And then a couple weeks later, you will get the next chapter of Reign of Superboys in Superman Unlimited, and you will get Spider-Man and Superman one shot from Marvel,
April
15th. And then then in May, top of May, is Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day number 1.
But the order cutoff, March 30th.
March 30th, final order cutoff. Please put this on your pull.
Indeed. Way to go, Slott. It's always a pleasure. You know that, my man. So thanks for playing. And hopefully you will carve out time from the cave to come out and talk soon.
That would be a joy.